America was founded by the English.
But also by the Germans, Dutch, and French.
The principle still sticks, our heritage is mixed. So any kid could be the president.
It was like any other day, really. We were only at the laundromat because our washer had recently broke, and we couldn't afford to buy a new one. I can't really explain how it happened. All I remember is that my close relative was being dragged out in handcuffs by 2 ICE agents. I was 10 years old, and none of it really made sense to me. I just didn't understand why it was happening, and I begged these officers to let him go, and I told them that we would just go home and that we would never come back, and they just shrugged.
One of my first acts will be to get all of the drug lords, all of the bad ones. We have some bad people in this country that have to go out. We're going to get them out. We're going to secure the border. And once the border is secured, at a later date, we'll make a determination as to the rest. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
So how did we end up here, under an administration so driven to rid the United States of illegal immigrants? They resorted to separating children from their parents.
Well, I was told when I was separated from my son that you were going to tell me when I was going to be joined with my son again.
I don't know who told you that, but you were told incorrectly. I have no information regarding your child. Immigration doesn't call the court or me personally and tell me what happened to your child. If they did do that, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. I'd be happy to relay the information to you if I could, but they don't do that. So hopefully somebody will get in touch with you through that side of the government.
I guess we can't blame Trump for everything, though. Millions of people elected him into office, after all. So really, to understand the whole immigration issue and how it's led to an estimated $21.6 billion wall and children in cages, we need to go back, and I mean way back. Yes, during the time of Friends, Beanie Babies, boy bands, and good Green Day music, illegal immigration into the United States was at a rapid increase, and politicians weren't too happy about that.
Not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens.
This led to the 1996 Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, which granted the American government the ability to deport basically whoever they wanted. Okay, maybe that's a bit biased, but it did create immigration enforcement as we know it today. Like Bill said, the goal of this act was to punish immigrants, both illegal and legal, who had violated U.S. law. They did this by increasing security around the border and fast-tracking people through the system, often stripping their right to a fair trial and instead detaining them before throwing them out of the country. Yeah, pretty great stuff. But wait, it gets better. After the 9/11 attacks, America started its war on terror. This led to the creation of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, with the main goal of preventing terrorism and minimalizing the impact of terrorist attacks within the United States, which meant security was again increased and coming into the United States became even more difficult. This sudden change also gave local law enforcement the ability to arrest anyone they suspected of being illegal. And when taking into account ICE's required daily quota of 34,000 immigrant detainees, this move makes sense. At this point, I'm sure you're like, Tanya, this is really depressing. but you still haven't gotten to the point. Well, here it is. The act of removing children from their parents and placing them in cages is a product of the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy, which the American people allowed to happen out of fear. I know, it's a loaded statement, but let's break it down. Starting in early May, we saw the removal of children from their parents. This was a direct result of Trump's zero-tolerance policy, which called for the prosecution of all individuals illegally entering the United States. This meant any child traveling with an adult was handed over to the Department of Health and Human Services. Between May 6th and the 19th, a total of 658 children were taken from their parents. Although the prosecution of immigrants is nothing new, Trump's harsh enforcement is. And the reasoning behind it all? To scare others from coming into the United States.
You see about child separation. You see what's going on there. But just remember, a country without borders is not a country at all. We need borders. We need security. We need safety. They could be murderers and thieves and so much else. So we want a safe country. And it starts with the borders. And that's the way it is.
Or they could be infants.
From day one, we've all heard Trump talk about how all immigrants are rapists or drug dealers and are only here to steal American jobs. And I can tell you from about 10 minutes of research that he's a liar. According to the American Immigration Council, between 1990 and 2013, the same time immigration began to rapidly increase, violent crime declined by 48%. To further expose Trump for his fake news propaganda, I spoke to Luis, an employee at the Immigration Law Center of New Mexico. This organization is focused on helping immigrants who are victims of crimes receive the legal support they deserve. Luis is also an immigrant and a dreamer. Why do you think immigrants are viewed in such a way?
It's just a scare tactic. It's just that there's so many other issues going on right now, and immigrants are just the scapegoat that you readily have to go towards. Like, we're losing regular jobs either to outsourcing or computers or robots or whatever, and some people don't want to really not believe that's going on, but accept it in a way. So you have immigrants just blame whatever we don't know in a way. So it's just blame the unknown in a way, but the unfamiliar.
So why do you think Trump decided to focus so heavily on immigration in his campaign and even in his presidency?
It's because his fan base, those that I guess can relate to Trump in a way, they're very passionate about immigration. Immigration is one of the issues that actually fires them out and gets them out on the polls. So that's the main reason immigration has been the one subject that he always goes back to, because he uses this strong anti-immigrant rhetoric, this rapists and animals, and that fires up his crowd. And that's what got him elected. That's why some voters that usually wouldn't go out and vote went out and voted for Trump, because of this rhetoric and this anti-immigrant that he's focusing on. And it's just what fires up his crowd.
The story I told at the beginning of this film is not unique in any way, shape, or form. Families are separated every day due to a broken immigration system, never meant to help people become citizens, but to villainize them. It seems the American people have allowed themselves to be fed lies for so long that when a clown like Trump proposes a $21.6 billion wall completely funded by taxpayer money, everyone is on board. We are a country founded by immigrants, founded by people fleeing tyranny and religious oppression. And now, when immigrants come to our borders in search of safety and a new start, we lock them up. Whatever happened to America's melting pot? So what are you painting, Uva?
I'm painting what I'm gonna be when I grow up.
And what are you gonna be when you grow up?
Yeah.
No, what are you gonna be?
I'm gonna be a traveler.
And why do you want to be a traveler?
Because I want to explore new places.
Like where?
Like China and China.